Let's go Mets. Let's go Mets. Let's go Mets. Yeah. You gotta believe and invest with your heart. Orange and blue till Mets do us part. Spring training, oh yes, it's the start. City Field gritty till Mets do us part. Hit home runs and knock it out the park. Big Apple till Mets do us part. You gotta believe and invest with your heart. Listen to the show till Mets do us part. John from Brooklyn, KB reps NJ. We're the other team, I don't care what your friends say. Mets fans, we focus like a sensei. Listen to the podcast Monday, Wednesday. Made a couple bad plays, but we still won. Character, yup, we're gonna build some. Are you gonna check the pod? Is real fun. Just like Mookie, I will sign. So invest with your heart. Orange and blue till Mets do us part. Spring training, oh yes, it's the start. City Field gritty till Mets do us part. Hit home runs and knock it out the park. Big Apple till Mets do us part. You gotta believe and invest with your heart. Listen to the show. Available now on all streaming platforms. If you love the New York Mets, check out Till Mets Do Us Part. Enough rapping. Let's get together.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Til Mets Do Us Part. We are live on YouTube, live on Twitter, live on Substack, like we are each and every single week. Another week ticks off the calendar, another week closer to Christmas, another move or two from our New York Mets. Queens baseball convention in the rearview mirror. Lot to do, a little bit of a shorter show this week. We'll get into that, get into the schedule changes for next week. People already asking, commenting, questioning in the comments. We'll talk about all of it. Plus, we have an amazing guest. Before we get into that, John Saponaro out in North Hollywood, California. And that means my co-host, Matt Ibanez, holding things down back in New Jersey. Ibby, lots to do, not a lot of time to do it. So, how you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good, John. Thank you for asking. We were just coming off of our fantastic live show at the QBC. A lot of fun was had. If you've never done the QBC, make sure you put it on that bucket list because we want to meet more people. It's a fantastic time. Great event for Mets fans. We'll get more into that towards the end of the show, recapping things, I'm sure. But all in all, I'm doing well. Our Mets gave us a signing today. We'll talk about that. Our Mets gave us a signing on Saturday, which we were able to talk about at the QBC, which you can find over at the QBC YouTube channel. But we'll talk about that signing and what it means for this team on today's show for those that weren't able to see that. And like you said, we have a fantastic guest who has allowed us the privilege of being on his show. So it's only fitting that we open up our doors and finally have a show where it's all three of us talking ball, talking some Mets. So let's get into it. The red light's on. Let's have some fun.
We have been trying to make this work for a while. Schedules are difficult when it's three people, and even trying to get on his show, like you said, all three of us at the same time has not worked. You've been on the show. I've been on the show separately. Together, we're about to, for the first time, embark on this journey. And I am super excited to bring this guy on. He's been patiently waiting in the backstage area on StreamYard, if you will. Host of Straight Outta Flushing for the New York Post, contributor on WFAN. It is the one and only Dexter Henry. Dexter, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing good, guys. It's an honor to be on the show. You guys are one of my favorite Mets podcasts. So, I love the Mets community. And so, thank you, man. I'm glad we got to do it together. We're going to do this all together on Straight Outta Flushing too. This will happen. Our schedules will align. We'll make it happen.
Schedules be damned.
We have a lot to talk about. Before we get into it, though, do have to do our roll call throughout the chat, something that I neglected a moment ago before I brought you on. Shout out Lazy Mary. Shout out Daniel Caps. Darren Rivera. Armand is amazing is here. Who else do we have? Carlos Ramos. We have Clink. We have Mike Laverty. A lot of familiar faces. Jeff Cohen. I'm sure this number will continue to grow. Keith Diaz in the house as well.
What up, Keith?
We have Brad, we have Aunt Rivera, Subway to Shea, who I know is another favorite over at Straight Outta Flushing. He and I on the same show a couple weeks ago. Who else do we have here? Truman Quinn is in the house. Matt Talks Rangers is back. Patty in NYC is back, saying,
good to see you this past weekend, Patty.
The Mets get New York Yankees and Brewers. That's all they can do. It's a problem to some people, not necessarily to me. We have Cindy in the house. We have Milo, Chrissy C. Nick DeLuca is back. Odd Villain, the one and only Odd Villain, saying, great meeting you two. He was over at the Queens Baseball Convention.
It was a pleasure, man. It was a pleasure meeting you. Seriously.
It really was. And, Odd was like, hey, man, what are you doing the night before the Queens Baseball Convention? I know this dim sum spot in Flushing. Let's go. And we did. And it was great. So shout out Odd Villain for finding a good dinner spot and hanging with me. We got, man, I think that's it. We have Joe DeMeo is in the house.
What up, Joe?
I think, all right. And Game for War. All right. If I missed anybody, my bad. But trying to scroll through as quickly as possible. Let's start with the news of the day, which is Luke Weaver joining the Mets bullpen, coming over from the Yankees, where he was pretty successful, especially this last season. 2 years, what is it, 22 million? Is 2 years, 22 million, no opt-outs, straight deal. Dexter, you're our guest, so I'm going to start with you. News breaks. Mets do get better. Mets are adding. Mets have a lot of holes, but it doesn't seem to be making a lot of people happy with how they're filling those holes. We can talk more on that in a second. Just in a vacuum, the Mets get a good relief pitcher for good market value for a 2-year deal with no opt-outs, and it makes their bullpen better. That's my take. What's yours?
Yeah, I mean, that's my take too. Do I still love the fact that Devin Williams is the closer here? No, I don't. I don't love it, but I think you want to make sure you can strengthen the bullpen, get other arms in front of him that could set up nicely. Look, Luke Weaver's fine. I'm sure we'll get into this more too. It's a little bit of how I feel about the Polanco signing. I think it's a fine signing. I think if you take the emotion out of it, which I understand is hard for sometimes the fans to do here, but I think this is a fine signing. Now, the other side of it, guys, some Mets fans, and I've been seeing this, is I've had people tweeting me, and I've talked to some people here at work about it too. It's that the Mets are signing all the Yankees. I mean, yeah, but are they good players or not? I like the Clay Holmes signing last year by David Stearns. I thought that was a good one. I am not thrilled about the Devin Williams signing, because I like the signing if he was going to be a setup guy. I'm not thrilled about him being the closer, but maybe I'm a little bit less hateful of it, I will say, now, because I do think Luke Weaver is a good setup guy in front of him. You got some good arms in front of him now. David Stearns still has some more work to do with this pen, but I think this is a good signing. I don't think Mets fans should get caught up into too much of they're signing these former Yankees players. I don't think it matters. Is can guys help the team win or not, right? I think Stearns is someone who looks for value a lot. He might be a little bit rigid to a fault, in my opinion, in terms of the value designations he has. But no, I think this is a good signing, John. I don't see how you can be mad at this. This is a good one.
Ibby, I mean, same thing. Your thoughts on this signing in a vacuum? We'll talk about the ex-Yankees. We'll talk about the Milwaukee Mets and all that nonsense that is being put out everywhere on social media. We talk about that in a second. Just Luke Weaver, Mets back end of the bullpen signing. Your thoughts on him?
Real quick, before I even give that thought, there is a poll on the YouTube side. Make sure you put in your vote for it. It's a simple one. Do you care if the Mets sign a player from the Yankees? Straight yes or no. We'll get into those results shortly. 36 votes in so far. Make sure you let your voice be heard there and sound off in the chat as well. That being said, yes, hashtag Bitter Bronx. That being said, I saw it, and this, I don't know if I said it on the show or in one of our chats, John, that being the content creator chat, or to you. I remember I did say, even though it wasn't a joking fashion, I was like, don't be shocked when Luke Weaver signs with the Mets. And I also threw the caveat that he would be coming here stretched out as a starter, a la Clay Holmes. But I think that this is a fine signing. 2 years, $22 million. You're trying to add talent. We always talk about arm talent on the show to a bullpen. I have no issue with this. He struggled a little bit last year because I talked with some Yankee fan friends that said maybe he was tipping some pitches. He dealt with some health issues as well. But this is a guy who still had an okay season. 24, you had people praising him for how clutch he was on the back end. Dare I say, and I can find the tweets of people saying that this is the best closer that this team has had since Mariano Rivera. Like
Sean Morris said it.
They were saying those. I know, and I know I can pull up those tweets. I can find those receipts easily.
Yeah.
And now it happens, and now it becomes this whole, sloppy seconds, taking this guy, like, the little brother syndrome, all this nonsense. It doesn't mean anything. I want talented players. I don't care where a player comes from. I want talent on the back end. And I think that adding an arm like Weaver with the talent that he has, hopefully you can fix the tipping. Hopefully the health stays proper. But I forgot who posted, but it was a great point. It's like, if there is anything, we talk about the show a lot about this, about how bullpens are fickle, relievers are fickle. Like, if you look to Luke Weaver, that's the epitome of what a relief pitcher is. The highest of highs, the lowest of lows, and then trying to find that middle ground. And it's like, $11 million a year for this guy, straight, no opt-outs. It's like, I have no problem with it. I don't think any Mets fan should have an issue with it. None at all.
I agree. And there's a lot of great comments flying in. Joe DeMeo, shout out the Mets pod, saying rent in the Bronx, buy in Queens, which I know is a sentiment that has happened pretty much since Soto, really. But, look, there's a list being started by Lazy Mary saying, can we just name the random players the Yankees have acquired after they were Mets? I'll start. Neil Walker. We've got Pablo Reyes. We have Marcus Stroman, JD Davis. We have Paul Blackburn, Dom Smith. Yeah. Of course, long ago, Strawberry and Gooden, of course, on some great Yankee teams. But,
David Cohn,
we're talking about guys like Ahmed Rosario. Like, we're talking about guys like Carlos Carrasco. Like, they're doing it too. They're baseball players. Hey, guys, there's only 30 teams.
It's called free agency. Who cares?
Right. There's only so many jobs. Right.
There's only so many jobs. Like, they always talk about it, Dex, in football, right? Where it's like, oh, it's one of 32 jobs to be the head coach. You got to get this job. There's only so many teams. Where are you going to go?
You know what you guys have me thinking about? And I feel now I'm thinking about this, and I'm like, where's the chatter on the other side? Whoever brought that up in the chat, salute to you. Because where's the chatter on the other side? I'm not trying to make this a Mets-Yankees beef thing here. But, there's limited players. Sometimes you're going to take players from other teams. It's happenstance. David Stearns is trying to build the best team, and I don't think he gives a damn about whether somebody's a former Yankee or former whatever. I don't think he cares at all, right? Like, he's just trying to build the best team. So, I think what bothers me, and I'm curious what you guys, and I've heard some of you guys talk about this after they signed Soto last year. What bothers me is the Yankees fans who act like they're not bothered by the Mets' success or lack of success, and I'm like, why do you care so much? That's the thing I don't understand, guys. Like, why do you care so much? But then they act like they don't care. That's the thing that's corny to me. There's been some people who've done that, like, oh, I don't care about the Mets, they're little brother, but clearly you do because you tweet about it all the time. Y'all probably know who I'm talking about.
That's the thing for me. That's the thing for me, where it's just like, listen, I wanted Juan Soto, period. Yeah. I didn't care if he was coming from the Yankees, from the Nationals, from the Padres. I wanted the Mets to get Juan Soto when he was on the block with the Nationals. They didn't. I wanted them to get him when the Padres put him on the block. They didn't. He had a stop off in the Bronx. Like, does it mean something to the way national media and New York media perceives the Mets that they were able to sign Soto away from the Yankees specifically? I think it does. But does that really matter? No, the ball player is what matters. And I think anybody who's saying otherwise is, kind of lying, man. I agree with you, right? I don't understand how there's this sentiment of, I like to call it like, it's like high school sports debates. I used to get into these debates. I remember when I was in high school, people would be like, Yankee fans would be like, Mike Piazza sucks. Like, Mike Piazza doesn't suck. If you're going to say that to me, I'm not going to have this conversation with you. So don't sit there and tell me we never wanted Juan Soto back anyway. Liar.
Yeah, I don't believe those people either. I don't believe those people at all. No. I don't believe one bit. No.
Again, I just think it's a waste of, like, I understand that a lot of people post things on social media now because they want the attention, they want the engagement, they want to rage bait, they want to do all this stuff. It's like, I just wish we could just have normal conversation. Like, the stuff that you see on Twitter, especially today, is just next level bitterness. I know Christy put it in the chat before saying, hashtag bitter Bronx. I may or may not have made a logo for that, and I'm debating on posting it or not, but I don't want to deal with the nonsense of it. But still, it comes to the point where
send that to me. I will buy a t-shirt. I will wear that t-shirt. Send that to me, please.
I will once during the show, I will send it to you via DM.
Please.
But
all right.
It's just ridiculous. I think it just shows that there is a lack of willingness to actually just have a normal conversation. I was shocked at the announcements, or not the announcements, the comments I was getting on TikTok for a post that I put up, and actual normal Yankee fans saying that, good pitcher, wish him all the best, take good care. I'm like, my responses was like, I'm shocked that you guys are normal on TikTok over here, because on Twitter, it's a war zone right now. People complaining and placing claim on people in the age of free agency. Guys, it's 2025. People jump from place to place. I know we have some crossover here when it comes to wrestling as well. Wrestling fans. I watch, John watches, people in the chat watch. Like the same people that complain when a talent leaves the WWE to go to AEW. It's like, guys, there's literally 2 legit places to work. There's going to be crossover. Why we make a big deal about, and that's at a more extreme level, because it's 2 places that you can legit go to and make serious money. Here we have limited jobs with 30 teams. Like, what are we doing here? Like, it just comes across as bitterness, babyish stuff. Just like, grow up. That's all I can say. Just grow up.
And I don't. For me, we could look a little bit more at this bigger picture here as it relates to Stearns. And we talked about this at the QBC. We talked about it a little bit last week and the week before. I don't understand this sentiment. Look, we can all debate whether or not what Stearns is doing is the right thing to do. That's fine. We could even criticize whether or not what he's doing is the right approach. Dexter, you mentioned it earlier about this kind of thought process of, I think the fairest criticism you could lay it at Stearns' feet is he willing to be uncomfortable? Like, truly uncomfortable. We've seen him overextend on deals for 2 players, Yamamoto and Soto. He got Soto. He didn't get Yamamoto. Both of those guys, 25, 26 years old. I think he's always going to have a stomach to sign a guy to a 10-year deal when they're in their mid-20s. I think that's fair. But sometimes you have to go to a 4th year or a 5th year to get a deal done and just deal with the back end of it. Now, does the looming lockout have something to do with that? I think so, but I think that's a fair criticism. The part that frustrates me, and you guys could agree or disagree, Dexter, I'll toss it over to you first. It's Mets fans after last year clamoring for change. We're starting to see change, and their immediate reaction is, no, not like that. That's not the change I want. And it's like this narrative of Milwaukee Mets or the Queens Bombers or whatever. These are 2 teams that are consistently in the playoffs, one of whom David Stearns had a hand in building. And they don't like it when it comes from the Bronx, because Mets fans feel like, oh man, I don't want these Yankees on my team. And they don't like it when it's Milwaukee, because they're like, any excuse that they can pull out of thin air to make it, to discredit David Stearns. Well, that's Milwaukee. That's a small market. That's the NL Central. It doesn't count. And it's like, all of these things count. All of these things matter. And to your point, when you open, Dexter, like, I don't care if these players come from Jupiter. Isn't the point to build a winning team?
Yep.
And to me, I don't get where this narrative, listen, I understand where the narrative comes from the other side. And I tweeted this earlier today. I understand why Yankee fans say LOL Mets. I understand why publications and radio stations and TV channels say LOL Mets. They do it because it works on an entire section of this fan base that I think is still too large. Get over it. You have to move forward a little.
So you're saying something. My cousin, shout out to my cousin Monique, who's a diehard Mets fan. I talk to her about this all the time. And I do think what you're saying, John, is right. I think it's a bit pervasive, I'll say, in the fan base, right? Like, it's the sky is always falling. Something bad is always going to happen to the Mets, right? Some of it I get, like, because you got to look at, but I think you're looking at things in totality, John. I really think you are. I think sometimes people live a little bit too off season to off season. And, like, I get it. Look, getting Juan Soto last offseason was a high of highs for the franchise, for the fan base. And I think a lot of people, for them, it felt like, okay, the Mets, this is different. This isn't the coupons era when those folks were running the team. This is, you're going to spend money. We're going to get big name guys. But John, you said something that was interesting when you talked about it and the reaction from Mets fans. You said some fans do not like the way it looks and the way the team is building, or I'll even add another thing, maybe the way it feels. At the end of the day, to your point, if you get a winner, this is what matters. This is where I'm willing to give David Stearns a little bit of credit and a little bit of relief after the week of the winter meetings. Did I like the fact that Edwin Diaz went away from this team? No, I thought it was priority number one. The Mets needed to bring him back. Absolutely did.
I agree.
I personally was a little bit more, and I said this on my show, I was a little bit more okay with them not bringing back Pete. That did not bother me as much as I know it bothered some other Mets fans. I understand homegrown guy, I get all that. Nimmo trade, and John, you and I talked about this right after you came on with me on the live show. I thought it was time to move on from Nimmo. Now, to your point and things you're raising, baseball offseason's way too long. It's way too drawn out. I actually hate the way they do free agency. I wish it was more like the NBA or NFL where there was a period where you sign guys, because I think that also doesn't help the fan base. Because now they see these moves. You see Polanco, you see Weaver, and you're like, what are they doing? These are not exciting names. But here's the thing. All off seasons aren't going to be exciting. What you want to be exciting is the season. So I'm going to throw something back to both of you. If the off season is meh, or it's mid, whatever you want to call it, but this season is, let's say it even exceeds 2024, which would mean the Mets getting to a World Series, will you care at the end of the day how mid the off season was? You won't care.
No.
Because,
No.
Right, you won't care because at the end of the day, it's about winning. Look, do the Mets still have holes to fill? Yes. But John, I agree with you. I think there is still way too much negativity in the fan base in rushing the judgment, and I don't think you have to have a way about how the team looks. Do I think David Stearns has spent money badly? No, I can't say that. Personally, I can't say that. Do I think that he probably is a little bit too rigid in how he wants to spend the money? I do think that a little bit, right? I actually agree with a lot of his philosophies and not giving out long-term deals to guys on the other side of 30. That's something I actually philosophically agree with, right?
So do I.
But sometimes, if you're going to get an Edwin Diaz, and we saw he only ended up getting a 3-year deal, sometimes if you have the best closer in the game, you might have to pay a little bit more to get him to stay. You got to make him feel a little loved, right? My concern with Stearns is, does he think he's like Mr. Big Brain in the room and trying to show us that he's the smartest guy in the room? He can build a good baseball team, which is part of your point, John. We've seen him do it before. So I don't think there's any reason to believe he can't do it here in New York. Is there more pressure on him? Sure. Is there more pressure after last season? Absolutely. But I do think the fan base should give him a chance. And I'll put media in this too. Let's see the process of how this all comes out. There's a lot of time between now and spring training. Let's at least see how this plays out. And I know I'm trying to come at this a little bit more rational. And I understand the wounds were open after the week of the winter meetings. I get it. I'm not mad at Mets fans for being mad after the winter meetings. I get it. Totally get it, guys. But I think you still can see how this plays out. And I just think fans can let this play out a little bit more. The offseason's not over. There's still trades they can do. There's still signings they can do. We might be talking, I might have you guys on the show in 3-4 weeks, and we might all feel very differently. The fans in the chat might feel differently. And look, I get it. I also want to say one last thing. I don't want to poo-poo the fact that fans are going to sit here and say, Dex, we've been waiting since 1986. Next year's 40 years. I get that. I'm a native New Yorker. I grew up a Mets fan. I get it. I understand it 100%. You've been waiting a long time for this. I was 3 when the Mets won, so I haven't seen it. So I'd like to see it. I know both of you would like to see it. I know everybody in the chat would like to see it. I do think that we should note this is not the Wilpons era. This is a different ownership. I don't think it feels the same as that, and I think we should understand it. Even though the moves, everything's not going to be sexy. My only concern with the Mets is, and I'd love to hear what you guys think on this too. Steve Cohen said he wanted this team to be Dodgers East. Okay. can they get to sustainable winning? Because that's what I took the point as. Can you get to making the playoffs year after year, contending for a World Series title? That's what Mets fans haven't seen. You've only seen a couple times where they've made the playoffs in back-to-back years. That's what they want to see. So I'm kind of like, let's give Stearns some more time and see how this is. If we get to, pitchers and catchers reporting, and you look at this roster and you still say, I don't like it, we can talk then and judge then. And I think that's fair.
I think there's a lot.
Sorry for the long-winded response, but
no, that's fine. That's fine.
No, I think you're right with a lot of what you're saying. I think there's a lot to unpack there. The one comment, Ibby, I want to bring up before I kick it over to you is with Ethan. Yeah. Ethan says, the patience when you have Prime, Lindor, and Soto went out the door, we need results. I don't want to put words in your mouth, Dexter, but when Ibby and I have been talking about patience, I'm not talking about patience for 2028 and 2030. I'm talking about patience of let the offseason happen. Yes. If we get to spring training and this is the Mets roster and Mark Vientos is hitting cleanup and Jeff McNeil is playing left field, I will be on this show losing my mind
if Mark
about
Vientos
how they tried to build this team.
If he opens at first base, I'm going to be on this show screaming. If Mark Vientos is playing first base, I will be.
Right. So it'd be like, we're not saying be patient for 2 more years next year. Wait, we're not saying that. Just let this thing happen. Let what we're watching happen. Because, look, one of the things that people tell me on Twitter all the time is that I tell people how to fan and that I'm arrogant about it. Listen, I'm going to say this right now on the show. I don't know better than any of you. I don't know. I don't think my opinions are better than anybody watching, anybody that I tweet with, okay? But I also don't think that any of you, myself included, know better than David Stearns.
No,
so
I never
easy.
try to act like that.
No.
It's so easy to do chalk. It's so easy to be like, well, Pete Alonso's good, bring him back. Edwin Diaz is good, bring him back. It wasn't their fault they lost, bring him back. It's so easy to do that. And look, maybe you're right. And those people, if they turn out to be right, and in 2 years David Stearns is fired and we're doing all this again, I will admit that. But the assumption that David Stearns is just automatically wrong because he's not doing what you think is a bridge too far. We have not seen the results and the hubris, the guts, the balls that it takes for you to sit on your couch and say that is insane to me just because you don't like the deals. I think it's too much. So to ask people to have a little bit of patience when we had 4 GMs before him since Cohen owned the team, since Nimmo has been a part of the core, since Alonso's been a part of the core, and Diaz has been a part of the core. If you want to take that all from 2019, they've made the playoffs twice in 7 years.
I'd like to add too, John, is that where I think David Stearns should get some credit, and I saw somebody mention in the chat about how he's built up the farm system, and that's been the pathway to being Dodgers East. And I do think that's a good point because the Mets are in a position where they could legitimately put together trade. Listen, I think all of us would say if the Mets ended up trading for Tariq Skubal, let's say that happened this offseason, it would change a lot of people's feelings about this offseason, okay? It would change a lot of feelings, but they do have the assets to go and do that. And that does matter. Now, I don't know whether they will or would not, and I'm not saying they definitively should or should not, but they have the assets to do that. I think how Stearns uses these assets and how he rebuilds a team following 2025 is a big thing. I think Stearns has been good at finding some value. We've seen it. Flipping some value. We've seen that too. And I think he's be credit. But, John, people don't have a lot of patience today, man. A lot of people, everybody wants tomorrow yesterday, my friend. Everybody wants tomorrow yesterday, and they want the offseason immediately, and they want to win the back pages. And look, I work at a place where the back pages matter, but don't nobody care about winning the back pages. You got to win in the season. That's what matters, right? Can you win can you put the best team on the field that can win a championship? That's what we're all waiting to see. And I'm with you, and I think I'm glad you made the clarity because I didn't mean that too when I talked about patience. I did not mean about hey, well, punt on 2026. That's not what I'm saying. No. What I'm saying is let's see the process of the offseason. Because I'll tell you what do you guys say? Mark Vientos at first base and Jeff McNeil in left field? If that's the vibes that we're going with come opening day, I'll be talking to you guys about it, and I'll be saying it's a bad job.
It's a failure.
Job is to evaluate. I will use that word, Ibby.
Yeah.
I will use that word.
Absolutely.
It would be a failure. And I try to be rational about this. And part of that is in my job. But part of my job is to say what I see and criticize and tell the truth about it. And so, I'm not carrying David Stearns water. None of us are. We all would like to see the Mets win. But if you start the season with Mark Vientos at first base and Jeff McNeil in the outfield, and you're trying to sell us the fan base on the platoon there, then it's a failure. It's a bad job. And I would tell every fan out there, well, you know how you can respond. If you don't like the team, you don't have to show up. That's Citi Field.
I mean, a big thing also for this fan base that I've been thinking about for a while is they are so used to one way of doing something. We as Mets fans have never experienced something like this with the president of baseball ops or a GM or whatever title you want to use. We are so used to the short-term fix, we're going to do these 2 moves and it's going to work and we're going to win. And then you don't. And then it sets you back. And then you try to do it again and it sets you back. Like, we're so used to that attempt that we're still, as a fan base, saying that this is what they should do. But why is that what they should do? Because we've seen that story play out year after year after year after year. And you have lost every single time. Now you have someone that is finally ripping things apart and saying, I tried this. And I saw a comment in the chat, I think it was Carlos, saying that why are these things happening in year 3? And I've said it time and time again. You come into a job and sometimes you see these pieces and you're like, let's try to supplement these pieces and let's see if we can make it work. And then I've said it before, I do not think that this team, this front office, thought that 24 was going to happen.
I agree.
And I can say, it's probably wrong to say that 24 ends up being a detriment to this team moving forward. But in essence, it kind of was, because in 25, no matter what, you are going to be judged as a team if you try to do what he wanted to truly do, which is what he's doing now by ripping it apart and saying, well, wait a minute, we were just 2 games away from the World Series. Like, why are we ripping things apart? Let's go for it. We're trying to win. No matter what, as a team, any team, especially a team like the Mets that has money, is going to be in on a Juan Soto. You want that player. You want that building piece. But essentially, besides him, he tried to run it back because he's giving it to the fans saying, we're going to try to run things back because we got this far. We're going to bring back Saponaro. We're going to bring in these pieces and supplement and try to go again. You don't catch lightning in a bottle twice. Yes, that's a mistake. And we saw what happens when you try to catch lightning in a bottle twice. So you gave it the run. You gave it the shot. I understand it's year 3. I get that. But you tried with what was here, and now you rip it apart a little, and now you're reimagining things. And again, people are upset about the words that you use: rebuild, reimagine, retool on the go, whatever word you want to use. Yes, this is a reimagining of this team because it didn't work. I'm not going to sit here and cry over the likes of people that left. They are gone. I'm moving forward. It is what it is. Like, I'm not going to lose sleep over anymore. Like, you're upset. Oh, Pete's gone. Okay. I knew it was happening a year in advance, but okay, whatever. Edwin's gone. That's annoying. That one bothered me, but I've moved on as you see more information come out. You move forward. You're trying to win, and I see what he's trying to do, and I believe that Mets fans don't like it because they simply just want the big names to go for the short short answer, if you will, and trying to do things right now, to Dexter's point, because we said on the show too, they're tired of waiting. And I understand that. I sympathize with that. I get it too. Like, I've been waiting my entire life too. I want to be at the Canyon of Heroes. I want to be out there and celebrate. I want all of that. I don't want to make it seem like I'm just saying, go to the next year, go to the next year. That's not what I'm saying. You have to let something play out though, because it's happening now. You screaming about it isn't going to do anything. You're going to see this through no matter what. And I guarantee you, whether you're in the stadium or you're on your couch, you're going to be there for opening day. And that's it. You're a Mets fan. You're in this for the long haul. That's it.
I think I want to just harp on something you said there, Ibby, because I think it's a really good point. And to the people that are, I think you made a great point about 24 sort of delaying the all of this. I think one of the things we do sometimes in sports, this is media, this is fans, we act like all progress is linear. Doesn't work that way. No. All progress isn't linear, right? Like, so sometimes you got to take a step back to go forward. And where I'll give Stearns credit, you got to give him some credit. Like, it's tough to be like, hey, these homegrown guys, nah, they ain't it. We got it. We got them. The easy thing to do is say, oh, we'll just run that back. Let's see if it happens again. That's the easy move.
That's what I was saying before. It's easy to just go, well, Alonso's good. Yeah, Alonso is good. Bring him back. Like, that's the easy move. It hasn't worked, and they keep doing it.
And this man is paid big bucks and entrusted by Steve Cohen to make the tough decisions. And I think John made a good point too, and I never try to act like this. I'm not a baseball guy. I don't know more than David Stearns. He's scouted the game. He's looked at the game and looked at talent in a way that I don't. That doesn't mean we don't know baseball. We do. I'm just saying I'm not David Stearns. And that's fair. That we're all intelligent guys up here. We have intelligent fans in the chat. It's lovely. But progress is not linear all the time. And so I will also add this. What you may believe is a step back sometimes can be a step forward. Okay? And I watch this. Obviously, I do a Knicks show too, and I watch this with the Knicks and firing Tom Thibodeau and hiring Mike Brown, and some people did not like that move. It was a move that I liked because I saw some of the things that we're seeing now with the Knicks that I thought needed to be done out of there. This might be the same thing with the Mets. You may have needed to take away from the core to truly enhance the prime years of Lindor and Soto. Now, do I think there's other things to be done? Do they need some more top-end pitching and all that? Yeah. I think Stearns knows that too. I mean, he's no dummy. He knows that. But I think it's a great point that 24, it hurt the team because the fan base expectations increased, and I understood that. And then you get Soto, so the expectations increased even more. Mm-hmm. So I get all that. But I think we might look back at this and say, you know what? David Stearns had some cojones here. He said, you know what? The easy thing to do would have been to bring all these guys back, have the fan base happy. Come on, you don't think David Stearns wants the fans to be happy? He grew up a Mets fan. I think we forget that sometimes too. Steve Cohen is a Mets fan. The guys that run this team grew up loving this team. They're not doing things because they want to see the team sink. I'm not saying I know it's going to work. I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea if it's going to work. But I do think you're right. I think it's a great point both of you made in that. And this is why I love talking to you guys, because you guys are having some discussion with nuance. We can discuss this with nuance. And yeah, sometimes you got to take a step back to go forward, or sometimes you got to reset and look at things from a different way. And I think that's what Stearns is trying to do. Let's see if he can cook, right? Though it might not be the way you want to cook or I will cook, but that's the reason we're not GMs, and he is. So.
Yeah, I said it before. People got mad at me when I said it on Twitter. I was like, it is not David Stearns' job to make the fans happy. It's David Stearns' job to build a team. And then a winning team will in turn make fans happy. And people are like, what are you talking about? His job is both. Like, it's literally not.
No, it's not.
It's literally not. His job is not to watch this show or watch your show or read the New York Post or listen to WFAN and go,
it's the last thing he should be doing.
What's going to make,
should not be listening to me.
at Joe967341 on Twitter, what's going to make him happy? He's making decisions to make the Mets better, and then it will make Mets fans happy. We're a little bit over the halfway point, which is all good. Let's head into the break. When we get back, we have plenty more to talk about. John Saponaro, Matt Ibanez, our guest this week, Dexter Henry of Straight Outta Flushing. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Yo, just like that, we are back with Til Mets Do Us Part, live on YouTube, live on Twitter, live on Substack, like we are each and every single week. John Saponaro, Matt Ibanez, our guest this week, the one and only Dexter Henry. We are talking a lot about the moves that David Stearns has made and not made on the whole for the entire offseason to this point. But in the first half, we did focus a lot on the immediacy that was the Luke Weaver signing that we found out about today. Try to get to the Jorge Polanco signing here in the second half. But before we do that, Ibby, let's hit them with a quick word from our friends over at Independent Safes.
Absolutely, John. IndependentSafes.com. Independent Safes is protecting homes and businesses with secure residential and commercial safes. Fireproof peace of mind in every corner. Visit IndependentSafes.com today for security that stands strong. And obviously, we're going to hop right into our next segment, which is a fan favorite. Make sure you throw them into the chat as well. It's time to throw away the key. And who is going into the safe this week? What is the move? What is the right thing for me to do here? I know what I'm going to do. It's going to be a continuation of the first half. It's more so based off of the comment or the question that I put as the poll question on the YouTube side, which has 62 votes right now, dominating with the 92% no to 8% yes. I want to know the person who voted yes, by the way. Do you care if the Mets sign a player from the Yankees? 92% say no, 8% say yes. Again, if you voted yes, please say your name. I am curious. But I'm putting the people that care about stuff like that into the safe. I'm putting the people on X today that are losing their mind from both sides when it comes to the Yankees claiming that so-and-so is, the Mets are taking, more players from us. It proves that they don't know what they're doing and their little brother. I'm putting Mets fans in there that are complaining about the Mets taking on too many Yankees players and caring in that sense. We, as any fan, should want good baseball players. And I don't want to hear either where it's like, oh, it was Yankees slop when it comes to Devin Williams and Clay Holmes and Luke Weaver, but Juan Soto and potentially Cody Bellinger are different. It's like, no, you want good ball players. They're here to help you win. That's what you want in the end. I don't care where you came from. And I know this is just me repeating what I said in the first half, but that was my whole point here. Like, those people, you are going into the safe, and I'm putting it from both sides. Yankee fans and Mets fans, you are in the safe this week. I am locking it. I am throwing away the key, and I am tossing that into the Pacific, the Atlantic, whatever ocean you want it into.
The Pacific? You're bringing that, you're carrying that safe all the way out here, dude?
I will carry it to you. And I'll drive. I won't even fly. I'll just drive it.
John, you can dispose of it.
I guess so. Shout out to Collateral Clay, who I think is a new commenter,
first-time
commenter. To be fair, we get the good Yankees. They often get bad Mets recently, which is something we spoke about in the first half. Dexter, I'm not going to put you on the spot. I'll do mine, but we do offer our guests the opportunity to put somebody in the safe as well. So if you want to, I'll let you think about it for a moment while I hit the folks with mine. This is a funny one from Ethan saying Mets Ferratu going in the safe. I'm not doing that.
No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
I'm not going to put him in the safe, mostly because, safes are really just coffins that you can lock. And I just feel like that's just sending him home. We got Chrissy C saying, put him in the safe, John. There's a lot of really good options. I think Ibby took the one that I was going to go with initially. So I'm going to pivot a little bit to what Aunt Rivera is saying here, which is someone told me today that they're going to cheer on Alonso to hit a home run off of Devin Williams with the face palm emoji. I said yesterday on Twitter that if you are one of these people who said you're going to buy a Pete Alonso Orioles jersey and wear it to Citi Field, that you're not a Mets fan. Like, not really. You're a Pete Alonso fan more. And that's okay. Again, you call me the fan, please. I don't care if that's where your fandom is. If you're like, look, I love Pete Alonso and I like Pete Alonso more than the Mets, just admit that when you buy your Alonso Orioles jersey. Just admit it. You could like Pete Alonso on the Mets, on the Orioles. You could support him from afar. You could wish him well, any version of that. And if you want, listen, buying the jersey would be a bridge too far for me, even though I've loved Pete for his entire career, because I just don't believe in doing that. But if that's what you want to do it. But just understand that you're not really a Mets fan. You're not first, not more importantly than you are a Pete Alonso fan. So just be honest with yourself and be honest with the rest of us, because when Jorge Polanco hits a game-winning home run, or when the Mets are making the playoffs with this roster that you hate so much on December 17th, remember this day. Remember, you were going to buy the Alonso jersey. You were going to protest. You were going to sell your season ticket. Just remember. And just be honest with the type of fan that you are, because those are the type of people that I want to throw in the safe, because I think you're being disingenuous. I really am. So, Dexter, I don't know if you want to put somebody in the safe. If you don't, we'll just move on.
I want to put, we talked about this before. Could we put the Yankee fans that act like they don't care about the Mets fans, but they do care? Can we put them in the safe? That's what I want to put in the safe.
Absolutely.
Get out of here. Be it by yourself. You don't have to do all this show. Like, just be, if you want, out of respect, if you're going to be a hater, just straight up be a hater. Like, just do it. just straight up, I hate the Mets. I don't like them. I don't like blue and orange. It's cool. I'm not even going to be mad at you. But, like, the fake stuff, put them in the safe. Get them out of here. We don't need that. Like, that's good. I like everybody's safe choices, though. They're good.
I like that. I like that the concept of it kind of goes along with what the message I've been trying to put out there, Dexter, which is, like, again, people say that I'm fan police, and I truly don't care how people fan. I just want you to be honest. And I like what you said, which is just like, listen, if you want to be a hater, just be like, I'm a hater. I have met plenty of fans that are like, whether it's Mets, Yankees, Jets, Giants, whoever it is. Like, I've met Yankee fans that look at me in my face and are like, I hate the Mets. Any point you're going to bring up, I don't care. I hate the Mets. I hate everything they do. I hate their stupid jersey. I hate their stupid stadium. And I'm like, listen, I respect it. Fine.
Stupid stadium.
That's what you know what I'm saying. Like, if you want to be a hater, be a hater. It's the Dave Chappelle sketch. The haters ball, right?
Haters ball.
Just be the biggest hater you could be. So it's like, if you want to be a different kind of fan, if you want to put Alonso first or Nimmo first or Diaz first, be that, but just be like, yo, honestly, I thought I loved the Mets. Turns out I really love Pete Alonso. And I like the Mets, but like, I like Alonso first. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's fine. It's fine.
It's totally cool. So anyway, good segment there. I like that.
Yeah, that was great. That was awesome.
Graphics Joker saying so many Yankee fans hate the Mets more than they like the Yankees, and they are usually Cowboys fans.
I have seen that overlap. Can't say I have not seen that overlap. I've seen it. There's a Venn diagram that makes sense. Very true. Let's jump in. I know it's been a half a week at this point, but let's talk a little bit about Jorge Polanco. And I'll just kind of toss it over to you, Dexter, the same way that I did with the Luke Weaver signing at the top of the show, which is forget about Pete Alonso, forget about Brandon Nimmo, forget about the losses. This move in a vacuum. 2 years, no opt-outs, 40 million. It's like, I guess technically less than 20 million per because of the signing bonus, but whatever. It's 20 million per. Your thoughts on the Jorge Polanco deal when the Mets made it? At first, when they made it, I would, because there were some reports coming out about the fact that he could play first, and a lot of it got framed. Well, I shouldn't say it got framed like that, because my colleague John Heyman did some reporting on it, and then you saw a lot of talk on social media, like, oh, is he going to be playing first base? And then when you saw more of the reporting, it was like, okay, this is a guy who's going to DH probably mostly and could fill in a little bit of first base. And you look at his numbers with Seattle last year, he's a solid hitter. Yeah. For a DH upgrade, which this team absolutely needs desperately, it's a fine signing, right? Yeah. It's fine. The money is fine. It's a short deal for where he is at his age, just slightly over 30. Like, I think he can help this team win games. I know it's going to come back to what we say. Again, every signing doesn't have to be sexy. I really want to say this, too, because when you're building a team, all the signings are not splashy and sexy. I know it feels like the Dodgers do that all the time, but that is not how it always goes down. And so I think this could be a good building block piece in terms of lifting up the Mets lineup just a little bit. Now, I will wait and see what other moves they put around them. Again, if Mark Vientos is at first base and Jeff McNeil is in left field, and we're talking about Jorge Polanco as the only offensive signing, then that's a problem. But I think in terms of a guy who can come in and be a professional hitter and can help this lineup and has versatility, that's something I value, guys, in terms of building a baseball team. Do you have guys who can play multiple positions? In a pinch, if somebody gets injured, can they step up? Jorge Polanco can do that. Now, I don't know. He's only played, one game, and it was one batter at first base that he. Yeah,
it was like part of one game. Yeah. It's like 0.0001% of his baseball career.
Right. So I think if you look at this, I think some Mets fans, and you kind of brought it up, John. You can't be looking at Twitter for everything, right? There's a little bit of toxicity there. But if you're a Mets fan, it's like, oh, this is the move they made following the winners' meetings, and this is supposed to be the Pete Alonso replacement. No, he's not the Pete Alonso replacement. That's not what this signing is. It's to fortify the DH position, and I think it also says a lot about how they might feel about Mark Vientos, sans him not starting the season at first base. But I think this is an upgrade for them at DH, and a guy that gives them some versatility. I like it. It's a fine signing. I wish I had more to say than that, guys. But it's a fine signing. And sometimes, you know what helps build a good team? Fine signings. Those help. And so I think you can look at this as a good one. I have no problems with it. But, I still think it's one of those signings where after you're like, okay, I want to see what Stearns does next. I want to see how he can really cook. I know I saw a comment somebody said he's not really cooking. He's using the microwave. That's a good. I don't remember who said it. That's a good comment.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I do like that. But I understand that this might not be cooking the gourmet meal, but you got to start with some appetizers. If these are the appetizers in the meal, let's see what happens when we get the main course. It might be all right.
I'll say this to you, Dexter. I have been. People are going to tell me I'm bragging, but whatever. I don't care. I've been to.
Brag away, John. Brag away.
I used to travel a ton for work, and I love food. I love to cook. I love to experience food. I like to go to restaurants where sometimes the chef has been on TV or sometimes the restaurant has been highlighted, whatever. I like to ask locals. I have been to Michelin star restaurants, and I have been to food trucks that just opened that are in like a dark, dirty alleyway. The meal is the most important part. It doesn't matter how much you spend on it. Did you leave satisfied? Are you full? Did you not get sick from the food? Like, sometimes that's the most important thing. It doesn't matter. The luxury is like, you know what I'm saying? Like, not every meal you have needs to be the Juan Soto experience. Sometimes you just go to the food truck, you go to your favorite, greasy spot and get a burger, and you leave happy. And that's enough. That's enough. The meal is the important part. Carson with a great one saying Polanco is better than Marte, Winker, Vogelback, Ruff, Davis, and Smith combined at DH. Jack of all trades. I honestly can't believe he wasn't on my radar because he's genuinely the perfect fit for this lineup. Because also, I understand he's a defensively, he graded out as a bad second baseman, right? And
yes,
but he's a guy, Ibby, who came up as a shortstop. Now he's probably not going to play shortstop, say for an emergency. But if you're saying this guy is an athlete who you're not just taking his glove away, he can play some second if he needs to. He gives you coverage for Brett Beatty at third base if Brett Beatty isn't going to be good. He gives you coverage at first base. Dare I say, maybe he gives you coverage at shortstop in an emergency. It's a guy who's an athlete, who is a baseball player. And I think that's being lost on a lot of people, aside from the fact that he's also a really good hitter. Like, he's a clutch hitter. He's got power. He's a switch hitter. There's a lot to like about him offensively, but Dexter highlighted it. It's his versatility. He's not just a guy you stick a DH and say like, all right, that's it. He's a DH and that's all he's ever going to do. He's a guy that gives the Mets options in the lineup.
We've always heard about versatility and flexibility. That's what this team wants, and this type of player is exactly what you get. I don't believe that is going to be, that being Jorge Polanco is going to be our everyday first baseman. I don't believe that. I still don't think of the first baseman for this team is here yet. But what I like about a Polanco is if he's going to be there, he can be. And at the same time, I feel that. I feel that a player like this allows you to move pieces around on a given day. It's not the end of the world when you have a player like this where, yes, one day he DHs, and then you want to get Semien off of his feet, and then he goes over to second base, and then maybe Semien's DHing that day, or your first baseman, whoever that may be. Let's say it was Wilson Contreras. Wilson Contreras is playing first, Polanco DHs. Maybe some days they flip-flop. Like, it's good to have pieces like this when we have, this roster is still very repetitive, where that's why I still think a lot of moves are coming, because you can't have this repetitiveness on the roster because it doesn't allow you to move pieces around where they're supposed to be. So all in all, I'm for this signing. It's not replacing Pete. We understand that. At least some of us do. It's replacing the production of what Brandon Nimmo gave you. Okay, you look at the numbers from last year, very similar in that sense. Yep. So I like where he fits from a versatility standpoint, from the flexibility standpoint. I love the player that he is. I love the energy that he brought to Seattle. He was fantastic in the playoffs. Like, all those things. That's the type of ball player you want on your team. And I just think that people are focusing too much on the players that left as opposed to the player that you're getting that's coming in that's going to help you win ball games.
Yeah, and like, I don't want to sit here and tell people, you got to get over it, but like, also you kind of have to get over it, right? Like, it just in the sense that it's like enough time has passed. Like, I understand part of fandom is the emotion, Dexter. I'm not trying to take that out of it, but like, It happened. It's over. It's done with. Pete Alonso's gone. He had his press conference. Edwin Diaz is gone. Brandon Nimmo is gone. They had their press conferences. So like, you can't worry about how these people, if you're a fan, you can't worry about how do they replace these people. They don't. It's like, well, now are the Mets better? Are the Mets better than they were when they didn't have Alonso or Jorge Polanco? They are. They're a better team now. And if they add somewhere else, which I'm sure they are, then they're going to be better still. So I think you have to look at it at not so much as a emotional replacement or, oh my God, what am I going to do about my favorite player being gone? And just say, are the Mets better? Did the Mets make a move that made them better? And I think when you look at Luke Weaver, you could say yes. But I think when you look at Jorge Polanco, it's definitely yes. He's good. He's a very good baseball
player. Yeah.
He's a very good baseball player. And to that point, John, maybe you don't feel the Mets are better right now on December 17th. That's why we keep saying that. It's December 17th. It's the redistribution of the talent, the redistribution of the money, and how you want to spend it and build your team. And listen, so I just kind of want to say this too, and I know we're coming up on time, but David Stearns, people talked earlier about he's in year 3. Yeah, but you have to give a GM, president of baseball operations, his time and chance to build a team in the way that he or she wants to do so. And you got to give him time to do that. This is the first time he's really kind of getting his hands in to do it. The other thing I'll add is I think Jorge Polanco is going to be a fantastic clubhouse guy. There was some talk about things in the clubhouse, McNeil and Lindor and all that stuff, and I don't expect McNeil to actually be on this roster. But guys that come in and part of the good vibes and connect with the team, I think is going to be huge here. And you just need professional guys in here. And you're right, John. You're not going to get back all the production of power from Pete Alonso on one player. There really isn't a player on the market that can do that for you right now. It's about you're going to have to piece it together. Can you get some, better protection for Soto in the lineup? That's something you'd like to see. But maybe that move comes. I know nobody wants to hear this. Maybe that move comes at the deadline. Maybe that move doesn't happen in the offseason. We also act like when a team starts spring training, that's the finished product, right? Like that's the team that's going to go the whole year. We don't know that. The last thing I'll say is it's a long way to go for Mets fans. I think Mets fans, I understand the passion. I do. But I think people just have to be patient with the process and let's see what happens with it. We sound repetitive on this, but let's see what happened before we judge this team on December 17th. Look, I wish the baseball season was shorter. I wish we kind of knew what the roster was looking like already and more moves. It would make our shows interesting. We'd probably have a little bit more passion to react to it. But there still is a lot more moves that David Stearns could do. I don't think he's done. And like I keep saying, we might feel a lot differently in a couple of weeks. Or days, who knows? You might, you next Tuesday or Wednesday, you're sitting around for Christmas Eve, and you're like, "Oh, the Mets did this. They did. I feel a lot differently than I did 2 weeks ago." Things can change so quickly, man, in sports. And and this is a business. This is a winning business. I also understand it is a what have you done for lately business. That's not lost on me, as somebody who works in sports media, but I think we do lose the sight of patience sometimes. And the process is the process, and you got to let the process go through. And if the process is bad, by the time you get to opening day, vent. Do whatever you got to do. Let it be known. I'll be right there with you. But I think I'm a little disappointed in offseason the fact that Diaz didn't come back. These last 2 signings that we've talked about today, they're fine signings. I think they're fine signings. I think Mets fans, when they take the emotion out of it, they should be okay with that.
I think that's very well said, and not revisionist history, but Ibby and I have been talking about this year being the true year 1, the true ground zero for David Stearns when he got signed. We're not apologizing for last year. It's like, hey, this guy's going to come in. He's going to look at what the system has to offer. He's going to look at the major league roster. He's going to get a couple drafts under his belt. He's going to get a couple trades, a couple signings. He's going to see what the team looks like. And then really, once he gets into the year 3 offseason, that's when this is going to be firmly his team. He's accelerated that even more by doing the things that he's done because he's put the target firmly on himself. Ibby, I think there's something that we can do that we've never done before, which is we'll let Dexter, plug his show, let people know where to find him. We'll do another quick break, and then you and I will spend maybe 10 minutes, just put a bow on the show.
Sure, that
because
works.
I do have a hard out as well, but I have a little bit more time than Dexter. Does that work for you?
Yeah, it works. Let's do it.
Cool. So we're going to take a second break, which we've never done in the show's history before. But before we do, let me just say, Dexter, it is a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you so much, Dex.
we
Appreciate
wanted
you
to
guys.
have you on for such a long time. I know this day got a little jumbled as compared to what we thought it was going to be when we first said we'd have you on this date. So thank you for making it work.
Oh, no problem, guys.
Your show is fantastic. You do a great job. If people don't know where to find you, how could they find you on social media? Where could they find the show? All of that good stuff before we let you go.
Follow me at D Henry TV. You can find me on the New York Post Sports YouTube channel. You can hit the like button, subscribe there. Wanted to say thank you guys for having me. I thank you guys for coming on. I love the Mets community. I love having the different content creators. That's something I've tried to do with my show, is have different voices on. So all the people that do great work, yourself, my guy Anthony Rivera, Wardy, Why My Mets Fan Pod, the ladies there, my guys at Just Mets, who've been good, Andrew and Rich. And there'll be more people to come. I just think it's good, and I love that we all collaborate with each other, and I think it's important to support independent media. I'm a big fan of that. That is something I'm always very, very passionate about, and I just always like to say that when I come on these shows. And so to the fans in the chat, keep hitting that like button, the subscribe button for Ibby and John. Keep supporting them because their voices matter, and we just have to elevate each other's voices. It's so important today in media. So, I appreciate you guys coming on, let me have my voice, and I will continue to support you guys, and I know you guys continue to support me, but we all support each other, man. It's all beautiful. So yeah, thank you guys for giving me the time. I was glad I was able to rock with you. Say we're going to do it again soon. I think I hope the next time we all get together, the fan base is a little bit more invigorated. That's what
I hope so too.
I hope so too. I do. I hope so too.
I really do, guys.
It's a great sentiment, and you platforming us and platforming other creators, small creators and stuff is not lost on us. And just
not
before
small,
we let you go,
not small. Everybody has a big voice. I never look at it that way. I want to be serious about this. I mean that really. I look for other people out there who are really talented and really put the work into their craft about this and creating content. So I'm a fan. I'm always looking at other people's stuff, and so I don't think anybody's small. Every platform is huge, and if you have people following you, if people tuning in, that's huge, man. That's beautiful.
Oh, awesome, man. I thank you so much.
Really, thank you so much.
Chrissy saying Dexter was great because I believe in giving people their flowers while they're still here. Carlos saying great job, Dex. Always delivering the goods. And Graphics Joker, great job, Dex. Yes, I cannot sing you. We cannot sing your praises enough. We'll let you get out of here. We know you've got some stuff to do. We're going to take another 30-second break, and then John and Ibby will take you through the rest of the show. That is the one and only Dexter Henry. We will be right back with more Til Mets Do Us Part. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Til Mets Do Us Part. I'm sorry, I can't.
I'm sorry.
Why you're laughing.
I'm sorry, man.
I it too. You know what? Okay. You know what? I'm not gonna say it out loud. I'm just gonna. I know why you're laughing. It's because I love Odd Villain, and this is.
I love you so much, John. I really do, man.
That is so funny. Like, there are so Ibby. I've been doing you and I have been doing this show together for a long time. I don't think I have ever laughed coming back off of the intro or the start of the show.
Hold on.
Got me in a way that is too real.
This isn't where I didn't think it was going to happen this way, and I'm going to do it anyway because I'm sure that there have been fantastic comments today, and we would see more if we didn't have a guest. We're focused more on the guest, but
yeah,
I did have an idea that I created today that I wanted to make a part of the show moving forward. So the inaugural winner of said award, as Lazy Mary is alluding to, the comment of the day, I got to bring it up. It's going to be called our crowned comment of the day. Odd, I love you. You're fantastic. And clearly the comment of the day, the crowned comment, the inaugural one, is going to the one and the great Odd Villain. So thank you for that. And moving forward, we're going to keep our eyes on the chat, obviously moving forward throughout the rest of our shows. And we're going to have a winner of said award every episode. I'll even keep a tally on my end, maybe do something fun at the end of a given season or what have you. But that is our inaugural winner of the crowned comment of the day.
Man, that is it just hit so hard. That was so funny.
That was fucking
hilarious. My God. Shout out to the Media Goon saying we def need Dex at the QBC next year. We'll try to put that together. I don't know if Keith knows Dexter at all, but
would love to get Dexter. That'd be great.
Definitely. Yeah. I think he would be wonderful. He's so good at what he does, obviously. Yeah. And I do appreciate, in all sincerity, I do appreciate Lazy Mary, who is always here, like throwing out comments, saying a lot of fun stuff, funny stuff, whatever. And then like just had some really good comments here today. That was just like, no. Odd Villain's comment was the comment of the day. Like, I respect that. Like, game recognized game. Odd Villain saying, you come at the king.
You best not miss. That's right.
And also, by the way, I do like Lazy Mary's doing the compliments, the 12 compliments of
yes, you got the 12 compliments today. Yes.
You know, and that's kind of nice. I'm not trying to make it about me, but
8 crazy slights, that's for sure.
Listen, it's nice. It's nice job. Shout out to you. Odd Villain did say before, by the way, Yankee Stadium is Ratchet Roman Coliseum, which I think is fair. Ibby, I don't know if Graphics Joker is still here, but Chrissy said something. She said, Ibby, debut that AI slop about the Bitter Bronx. But then Graphics Joker said, AI slop put me out of business. But I'm wondering if maybe we can't figure out a way to collab with Graphics Joker if they're open to it, and maybe we can.
I would love to
that
work with
way.
Joe.
I would love to do that. I don't know if Graphics Joker is still here. I don't want to put him on the spot, but I just do think that that's maybe something we can investigate.
Absolutely, for sure. I would love to do it. Yeah, it's just right there. Yeah, I'm down. Like I love Joe's work. It's fantastic. I love anyone that does actual art. I just mess around with stuff like that because I can't do it. I wish I could. I'm not selling things. I'm not making money on anything. It's just me just messing around, wishing I could do something that I am jealous that others have the talent to actually do it. That's all.
Word. Graphics Joker saying, yeah, I'm down. So
let's do something.
Also
we'll
saying,
something out.
Joking, still in business. Art is a side thing. Yeah, I figured you were, but that's why let's collaborate. Let's try to make something happen where we can put something together, and we'll figure out. We'll talk about it off air and all that stuff. But I know that you've talked to Joe about this before. We've all talked about maybe doing something, and I think maybe this is kind of just the bringing it all to fruition. To clarify, Carlos said, wait, did John just say the Mets are better today after getting rid of Nimmo and Alonso? Remember, we're talking about today. John, come on. You're just being disingenuous. No, I didn't mean that they're better today than they were with Pete Alonso. Like, I don't think that all of the moves in totality right now make the Mets a better team. What I'm saying is once those players are gone and off of the roster and the Mets have the holes that they've created, they have made themselves a better team by adding Jorge Polanco. Like, there's no question that they are better than they were since the departures. I don't believe that the addition of Jorge Polanco makes up for losing, Nimmo and Alonso. I don't think that. So just to clarify. Ibby, this was one that I thought was worth bringing up here. Armand said, question for John, Ibby, and Dex. Dexter Henry no longer with us on the show, but it's all good. We'll rock with it. With how the offseason is gone, should the Mets take a chance and sign Murakami for first base? His deadline is Monday at 5 p.m. Look, I think the Mets could definitely use the pop that Murakami would bring. I mean, he's a guy who I know that New Japan baseball doesn't translate exactly. I don't expect him to come here and hit 50 home runs, but and he could come here and hit 35. Like, he's got a tremendous amount of power. The thing is, with the addition of Polanco, unless he truly takes to first base, I don't know if Murakami fits the team. I think Akamoto fits the team better in that this is a guy who was won Gold Gloves playing third base in Japan. I think he could be a plus defender at third, plus defender at first. He's a guy that can play some left field and right field. You want to talk about versatility? Oh, and by the way, he's had, 30 and 40 home run seasons in New Japan. So I think Okamoto fits the team better. Murakami's the sexier name. He is the younger player. If you want to go that route with David Stearns and wanting the younger guy, I would, at this point, I'd welcome both. I think Okamoto fits the team better. That's just my thought process.
I think he does fit the team better because, again, that versatility, he could play first, he could play third. It's a better overall glove. But I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if it's been like the last 24 hours, last 48 hours. I feel like we might hear that the Mets are the team that end up signing him on Monday, that being Murakami. I know he's the outcome, the type of player that he is might be questionable, but would I be shocked if David Stearns rolled the dice on that power, mainly because I don't think it's going to end up being the contract that many people thought it was going to be.
Right.
And especially the years, he might take it where it's a shorter amount of years to prove worth, then cash in later because he is still young. Like,
he's 26, right?
20, I think he's 20. I want to say 27. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat.
I mean, like,
but still, like, you could
he's
take
the kind
something
of
that
free
is
agent. The kind
like
of free agent that if he had a track record, David Stearns would be all over.
Right. And this could be something where he takes maybe a 3-year deal, 4-year deal with an opt-out to then show face. Like, it's either I can do great right away. So he's 25. Like you could take something where you take something on the short end to prove worth. Yeah. But I feel like the Mets are players in it still. I don't know if it's going to happen. I know they're listed as a team, but I do think that it kind of makes sense. And you could still have Polanco here. You could still rotate. Like, it's questionable in terms of the whole run prevention aspect. That's why I still think Wilson Contreras could be an option in all of this too. But I think it's something where the offensive output, especially when it just came out that the Mets are more willing to take on someone that's not so much glove first and to add something to the team, like with that coming out, like, I'm curious if that's the player that they're talking about, especially from the age standpoint. But I think the Mets are in play. Are they going to get him? I don't know. I'm still 50-50 on it, but I wouldn't be shocked if that announcement came on Monday. I really wouldn't.
And look, I just want to be clear. I would not be upset. Like, I'm with Ethan. No. Either Okamoto or Murakami, and I would be very happy with that. I'm just looking at, like, trying to figure out the math of how certain guys fit and where guys fit. And to Clay's point, is Okamoto better than Beatty though? Like, probably not. But the thing is that he gives you a viable option, like what it would be a legitimate option to play third, to play first, to play left field, to play right field. There's a good chance that Murakami is a full-time DH a la Kyle Schwarber, and in more ways than one. I don't know if he could ever be what Schwarber actually is, but a 3 true outcome guy, high on base percentage, high home runs, high strikeouts. Or there's a chance that he's like just kind of a poor or below average first baseman, whereas Okamoto has a little bit more of a defensive track record. So I don't know if either one of them is coming in and taking the job from Beatty, unless Beatty doesn't hit, right? Like, if Beatty is the guy who had a weighted runs created plus of like 35 or whatever he had last May, like, yeah, then listen, I might be playing third base. Like, anybody is going to get a shot to play third. But if Beatty does what he did, to end the season, no, I don't think either one of these guys necessarily supplant him there, because he's going to be the better defender probably than both. But I do think there's something about versatility. But I do think the fact that the market is coming to an end for Murakami first, and the fact that he's 25, and the Mets tried to give a lot of money to Kyle Schwarber to be that guy. If they really think that Polanco is enough of an athlete to be an asset at first base, maybe they do get Murakami, and I won't be upset.
It wouldn't shock me at all. And I know that I know you're up against the clock soon. I did want to throw this out there because it is on the ticker. Sure. Like, when it comes to the smoke, and there's been a lot of smoke, and remember, guys, trust, only so few people, like with the people that are coming out of the woodwork when it comes to, Mets are making a deal, Mets and Padres and that. Like, look, I do think that there is some smoke to when I read things from Will Salmon, that he posted recently about the Padres and being a potential fit. Look, I don't know if that's going to end up being something that does happen, especially now after the Luke Weaver signing. They still need help in the bullpen. They still need more. So there's still a fit here. But I'm going to say something real quick when it comes to the Padres and the smoke and the things that people are talking about in general. And then I'll throw it to John to see how he feels, if it matches, if it's different. I understand how talented Mason Miller is. I do. I put him on the thumbnail for a reason. He is electric. He threw the most incredible pitch that I've probably ever seen last year, 104 on the black. Perfect. Nobody's hitting it. Like, He is special, no doubt. Incredible closer, will break it once he becomes a free agent in terms of pay. No doubt in my mind. But at the same time, I understand he has control, but the idea of dumping out the farm for a relief pitcher, if that's the move after all of this, when it comes to building up your farm, I'm sorry. Fantastic talent. I cannot do it.
The Mets expect to be a good team. They do. Good teams need closers to win games. I know people are down on Devin Williams. Devin Williams is a great closer. He had one bad year. His bad year in New York wasn't even as bad as Edwin Diaz's bad year in New York. So, the Mets have a closer. Is Mason Miller better than Devin Williams? Yeah, he has better stuff than Devin Williams, 100%.
He does. He does.
Is it enticing that he has 4 years of team control? Yes.
Of course.
The only reason why I buy into this is because we found out that the Mets were very aggressively trying to get Mason Miller at the deadline, and the only reason why they couldn't was because the Padres put a player on the table that the Mets simply could not match. He was a guy who was, top 5 prospect in the sport. And eventually it was too much for the Mets to compete with and too much for the A's to say no to. So I do think there's something there that the Mets' interest is real, but I don't think you can empty out the farm for a player like that. Not when they're not as sexy, Ibby, but Adrian Morejon is great. And Estrada is great.
I want Estrada. That's who I want.
You could get one of those guys. And oh, by the way, Estrada also has 3 or 4 years of control. Morejon would be a rental.
Morejon's a rental, yeah.
But Estrada's fallen victim to the fact that they had Suarez and then they went and got Mason Miller and they had Morejon. Otherwise, Estrada would have been their closer. That's how good he is. He's another guy who throws 100 miles an hour with a split finger fastball. Guy is dirty. So if you can get somebody, go get him.
Just seeing this comment, I want to pull up real quick from Ethan. I disagree. Even if you trade for Miller, the Mets still have a deep system that it won't hurt us. I disagree with that, only because of the talent that you would have to give up. It's not talent that I think is conducive to what you should use said talent for.
Yes.
I'm not giving up, Jonah Tong, Jet Williams, and Brandon Sproat and Carson Bench types for a relief pitcher. And I'm not going to do that. And I understand
you'd have to give up multiple of those guys in one deal. I'm not saying all of them.
Right.
You'd have to give up multiple of them in one deal to get a guy who's going to pitch 70 times.
And I don't want to I still like the guys on the back end that we have, the Ryan Cliffords, the Jacob Reimers, the Will Watsons, the Jack Wenigers. Like I like all those guys. I do, but I'm not dumping out the system for a relief pitcher. Like I don't think it's the right move. Now, look, if they end up doing it, and he ends up being here, I'm going to be on the show supporting him and wishing that everything I said is wrong and it was the right move in the end. Like, that's fine. He's a great talent. I'd love to have him on my team.
I'd love to have him.
It's not something that I think is the right way to go about building, because I think you could just sign players and save those prospects for a deal that better suits this team on a more consistent level. That's all.
Yeah, like if I'm trading, I want a player. Like I want a star. If Skubal had control, you make that deal. If you're getting Fernando Tatis Jr., you make that deal.
Yes, different story.
Those are the kinds of players you go out and get with a deal like that.
And also, you're not nobody. Please stop with this online too. We're not taking back Xander Bogaerts' contract.
Not in a million years.
They are going to sleep. They dug that grave. It was ridiculous when it happened. It's ridiculous now. They are stuck with that contract. Nobody should be helping them with that, because it was a mistake then. It's a mistake today.
That might be, now that the Rendon situation is like resolved, that's the worst contract in Major League Baseball.
That was an overpay by over $130 million. It was insane.
Contract in Major League Baseball.
It was insane.
Shout out Jeff Cohen, shameless plug, coming up on Baseball and BBQ, former Mets great for about 40 games, Frank Catalanato, Long Island zone, Frank Catalanato.
Nice.
Shout out Keith Blacknick, the media goon, on the super chat, $2. I want to thank you guys for what you did at the QBC. Thank you for having us at the QBC. I've got the poster for last year's behind me and the poster for years the new one, prior above that. And I'm going to have to make some room and move things around for the poster for this year. I ordered the frame, but thank you for having us. I do want to just bring this up too, Ibby, and then we'll get out of here. Truman Quinn saying Stearns will make Mason Miller a starter. Mason Miller has said he doesn't want to be a starter. He got hurt as a starter, and I think he realizes if he's an elite closer, he looks what Edwin Diaz got paid and Josh Hader got paid, and even guys like Ryan Helsley got paid off of a bad year, and Devin Williams got paid off of a bad year. Just be an elite closer. You'll make plenty of money, promise.
You'll make plenty of money. And look, if you try to make that guy a starter, I'm sorry, his arm is going to helicopter off, and he's going to get hurt, and he knows, like he sees what goes on. It happens to closers too. Anything can happen to pitching when you throw that hard, but he sees what guys are getting paid. He says, this is where I can make my cash. This is what I am. I can empty the clip, X amount of times. I don't have to worry about going 180 innings a year, and then people start questioning me if I'm going to explode or not. Like, stay where you are. You're fantastic. Like, I don't see the sense of making him a starter. No.
Ibby, this has been a great show. We got to get out of here. People were asking at the top of the show. I will be doing Walk-Off Whiskey on Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. So your bonus Til Mets Do Us part content coming out on Friday. Took last week off because I was out of town, didn't have everything, was gearing up for the QBC. Also, I didn't want to say it at the time, but Odd Villain was like, yo, let's go get food. And I was like, okay, we'll go get food. So that's kind of how that worked, but we'll be back doing that. And then next week is Christmas week. We're not going to do a show on Christmas Eve, obviously. It's just going to be too much going on. We're going to try, the plan is now to do a show on Tuesday.
Festivus.
But yes, we'll do a Festivus show is the plan. But also though, like if Mets news breaks, maybe we'll do something differently or however, but no, the plan is to not do Wednesday of next week. We're obviously not going to bump it back to Thursday for Christmas Day. So I think the plan as it stands right now is to do Tuesday for Til Mets Do Us part, and then more than likely I will do Walk-Off Whiskey on Friday, the following Friday. And if something goes awry, the Walk-Off Whiskey is what would drop out. Like if me and Ibby have to push our show from Wednesday to Friday, we'll do a regular Til Mets Do Us part there, and then Walk-Off Whiskey will just get pushed back a week. That's how that'll work. So, but if you have your notifications turned on, you will never, ever, ever miss an opportunity to know when we are going live. Ibby, great to see you for the one time a year that we see each other. Sometimes it's twice if we see a Mets game or whatever. But it was great to see you in person at the QBC. It was wonderful to be there at the QBC. And you and I will talk privately, but Merry Christmas to you and your family and all that stuff.
Merry Christmas to you as well, man. And look, I love the QBC. I love the fact that I've been able to come into the fold and be a part of everything that goes on that day. And I'm so thankful to Keith. And I said this to him, that day. I'll just repeat it for everyone here in front of the 486 that are joining us across all platforms. Thank you so much to everyone there. Obviously, the QBC is a fantastic event. If you've never been a part of it or ever been to it, you should. Like I said at the start, bucket list. It is I forgot who said it. Somebody across socials were saying it's like a winter meetings of Mets fans. And I think it's a fantastic way to put it. It might've been Flip. Meeting Flip was great. Master Flip from X.
Yeah. Shout out Flip.
Getting a chance to meet Odd. Like that was like, Odd, you're awesome, man. Thank you so much for all that you do when it comes to supporting us, and just talking ball with you in person was great. But no, thank you to Keith for allowing me to be a part of the State of the Mets panel, which was great with Mark Healy. All jokes aside, Lori Rubinson, a very good friend of the show, and very good friend of the show, that being Aunt Rivera, so but Shay. And then, us doing our show live, it went the way exactly we thought it would. It was fantastic. Full room. Everyone was engaged. Everyone was having fun. Everyone was laughing. Chris Scopa was fantastic. Joe DeMeo was awesome. The process person in Joe playing off of the comedy and the Met fandom of Scopo with us in the middle, like all of that worked.
It was great
to perfection. It was fantastic. Again, that is on the QBC's channel. Check it out. We went for about an hour. It was great. So much fun. Thank you to everyone at the QBC for all that you do. That hard work is much appreciated. And thank you to everyone here for everything that you do to help support us. Like I said, nearly 500 people here today. Dex was awesome. Thank you, everyone. Much love. Stay patient. I know I have to sneak it in there. Stay patient. And as always, let's go Mets.
And look, if we do the show on Tuesday, obviously we'll wish everybody a Merry Christmas again. But if for some reason it gets pushed back until the Friday, everybody in the chat, if you celebrate Christmas, have a Merry Christmas. If you're currently celebrating Hanukkah, Happy Hanukkah. We're right in the middle of Hanukkah right now. So happy holidays, just, in its entirety to whatever you celebrate, however you choose to celebrate. I'm John. That's Ibby for our guest this week, Dexter Henry, who was fantastic. You can check him out.
Great show.
Til Mets Do Us part. We'll see you at some point next week, and I'll see you guys on Friday for Walk Off Whiskey.